Hello everybody and welcome to The Shed. Today I'm going to be giving you 5 things you can do pretty much straight away in order to make your music better. And it doesn't matter whether you're writing instrumental bits of music, EDM, songs, film score, anything. These are eternal things which people could easily fix but sometimes don't spot. And the reason I know this is because I run an organisation called Think Space Education when I'm not writing film and television music, which is what I do the rest of the time. And I've listened to 200 or 300 bits of music by students in the last year. And after a while, like after the sort of first 100, you go, there is a theme emerging here. A theme which I think I could pass on to people like you, because a lot of them are things you could go, oh, I do that. And then you can go in there and fix it. So I would like you to make yourself a fresh beverage and we will get stuck in. Now, for the sake of argument, I've taken a really, really bad piece of music. It's this one. And I can say in all honesty that it's a really bad piece of music because I wrote it. Because whilst all the students were writing in for having work reviewed in order to write better music, I was learning how to write a bad piece of music at the same time. So it's a sort of fair knowledge exchange, if you see what I mean. No, this is no. A lot of the students have been sending in really amazingly good pieces of music. All I'm doing is picking up on some of the most common shortcomings, I think it's fair to say, which we've noticed as we've gone along. So, are you ready to listen to this piece of music which I have slaughtered? Here we go, and it goes. Yep, I think it's living up to my billing of being really bad, isn't it? Any redeeming virtues? Not that I can hear. Oh. Okay. What did I tell you? Okay, so we're starting right at the bottom with, it's sort of like lift music, but it's so bad you'd notice it. And most lift music you're supposed to not notice. Actually, you notice it and want to jump out of the lift regardless of which floor you weren't on. Now, the first thing to notice about this is there is no big central idea. The theme just kind of wanders about. It's sort of aimless. It's like a small child lost in a supermarket somewhere, just wandering around looking for its mother. It has no idea where it's going. And that is the first thing. So the first thing, ask yourself, what is my idea? And declutter, simplify, get some of the stuff out the way so you can actually expose the idea. Because if the idea is any good, it'll stand up and be counted. And if it's not any good, if what you've done is you've taken, I could have one good idea, or I could have 4 ideas which are sort of a quarter good each. No, that doesn't work. That really doesn't work. Because then you layer them up on top of each other, and what you end up with is a kind of blancmange of ideas which has been machine gunned at your listener, and you go, it's not very good, is it? But I just don't know where to start. Okay, where we're going to start, therefore, decluttering, is we're going to turn a whole load of stuff off. What should we do? Let's get this what passes for a tune and the piano bit. It's sort of wandering around. Okay. It's out of time as well. It doesn't have any shape. It's just... I'm sorry. That's not a tune. That's a musical car crash. What I'm going to do is get rid of it for a moment, completely. Because it should be the very centre of our idea. But it's not. It's just kind of getting in the way. And so we're going to come back to it, but we need to sort some other stuff out first. Because you may have noticed already, those of you who are paying attention, that there's a lot which is not lining up with the actual track itself. And this is point number 2, is make sure everything lines up harmonically and rhythmically so that, if you've got rhythms which are working against each other, do it on purpose, not by mistake. If you start listening to things, particularly pairs of tracks, like we could listen to the piano and the vibes and the strings and see how all this... So far, so good. Okay, that's not too bad. Chord 1, going to chord 4, then going to chord 6. Oh, what went on? There, at the end there. What was that? What was I thinking? What's happened is the piano parts played one chord progression, the strings played another, and as far as I know, the vibes were just drunk. And it's just kind of all going along, then suddenly bang, crash, wallop, and then that's what you get. But the funny thing is, when we listen to it first time through, other than trying to look at how can I get out of this elevator? I want to throw myself. Other than that, it didn't stand out as being harmonically. So what we need to do is work out which one is wrong. Okay, those two are definitely wrong. So let's take that one out. Let's listen to the bass line. The bass line is often. Okay, chord 6. So we're going to chord 5. Okay, so the piano is wrong. So let's start with the piano. We're going to stick it into merge. I'm actually going to fix it. Okay, if you're new to the channel, I sort of try and fix things. I try and write stuff in real time, something, and all that kind of thing. And sometimes it's really bad, and sometimes it works out. So what we've got here is something which is quite bad, and we're going to try and make it less bad. So what we want is this piano part here. So it's going... Here we go, top down. Okay, so we want it to go... so we're going into chord 6, which is A minor. So we're in C, so it's going C, F major, A minor, G. Very, very 1, 4, 6, 5. It's the world's most... Well, it's not the most hackneyed chord progression of all time. That's 1, 5, 6, 4. It's the first cousin of the most hackneyed chord progression of all time. So it's pretty bad. I think it's going to go like that. Here we go. We're in Michelmore. Oh! Don't... Something like that. That'll be all right, he says. Will it be? Will it though? Really? Is it going to be all right, Guy? Yes, I'm going to will it over the line. It's just going to be great. It's just not great yet. Now we line up the other bits. Okay, vibes line up. Let's now try the strings. That's 6, isn't it? No, what they're playing is they're going to chord 1 rather than 6. So what's happened, and this is quite common, is they play the slightly different, only one note different, and it sort of fits together. So what we have is chord 1, which is C, which is C, E and G. Then it goes to chord 4, which is F, A and C. Then it goes to chord 6, which is A, C and E. So apart from the A, that's chord 1, that's chord 6. And what the strings are playing is just one note different. So it doesn't sound radically wrong. It just sounds a little bit squeaky. So what we've got to do is sort them out. Okay? Right, you string lot. Pay attention. Here we're going to go. So we're going to go, or something like that. Okay, that's where it starts. Oh, wake up, guy. Sorry, I wasn't really paying attention. How can you not pay attention? You're in the middle of a YouTube video. How can you not be paying attention? You know, you can't have your mind wandering in the middle of a YouTube video. It's not possible. Oh, I think you'll find it is. Okay, here we go. There's more to be said about that string line, but I'm not going to say it now. We'll come back to it. So now it does at least line up, even though it's still... there is another thing which I have to do with the string line, because strings sometimes they sort of speak a little bit late. So you just need to nudge it back a little bit. So I'm just going to get in there and do a bit of nudging. Where are you, my friends? Where have you gone? We're back in bar 10. I don't know where you think you're off to. Oh, I'm really sorry. Let me come back then. Oh, here we are. That's us. Oh, right, yes. Oh, look. There's a nice... That's not very good. So when you start this getting into the detail, you start noticing all kinds of stuff which is not quite right. And the more you tidy it up, the more mysteriously it sounds. Sounds more in time now, doesn't it? The reason it sounds more in time is because it is. Okay, so now it's not terrible. It's still pretty bad, isn't it? I mean, it's tidy but bad now, which is okay. So how do the vibes go? Is this all lining up? Okay, another aspect of the badness of this. Look at these drums. We haven't got onto the drums yet, but for no apparent reason, they suddenly change halfway through. Okay, I'm not wild about it, but at least it's not It's not too offensive. Now suddenly, what? Okay, well, again, you know, what is your idea? Clarity. You know, you can evolve your drums, but do it on purpose, not just because you get bored. That's really the worst reason to suddenly start just doing something else. The other thing which we need to do is try and make sure, I mean, it's the world's most obvious and oldest thing, is you've got to try and make the kick drum line up with the bass a bit. And only a decent cup of tea will help you do that. If you haven't got a cup of tea, there is absolutely no chance whatsoever your bass is going to line up with your kick drum. Right, okay, shall we just sort the drums out? Okay, so we're going to try and get these drums to line up with the... Okay, give myself a bar to... Right, what I'm doing is screwing it up. One. A lot of that wasn't very good. One would be cruel and say it was talentless. No. No, hang on. A little bit of tidy up. No, I'm not going to waste hours doing this. Sound of dogs eating somebody outside. Sorry. Okay, so, right, what we might do here. Sometimes this happens. Let's have a little look. No, okay. We don't necessarily... What tends to happen is the second time through, you've sort of got into your groove and you can do it better. So actually, a lot of the time I just copy. except that last bar, which was really stinkily bad. Okay, why don't I copy the first bar? Here we go, we're going to copy the first bar and stick it at the end, and that will suddenly fix my problem for the moment. Okay, at least it's consistent, and at least it now matches up with the bass line. Dum dum. Dum. Dum dum. Right, okay. So, we've worked out what's important, and we've tried to focus on, the main idea, which was rubbish. So we've got rid of it for the time being, because point number 2, things weren't lining up, either harmonically or rhythmically or in any other way. At least now we've started to clarify things a bit, we can hear that things line up. But it's still a mile to go before we get anywhere. So we're going to go back to point 1 and get the idea going, but we need to move on to point 3. What is point 3, Guy? Point 3 is a very common one. People have put all their ideas in one go. We're just going to start. We're going to start everything at once. Here's my ideas. Take them any old way you like them. That's... knock yourself out. Have a nice time. And there's no sense of tension and drama. There's no sense of building expectations. There's no sense of, what's going to happen next. Are you going to attempt to clamber out of the lift because it's so bad? Yes, you are. Except I think we've gone from really obviously awful up to a sort of slight level of nausea. But we're going to work on it until we get to true mediocrity, okay? Right, so let's have a look at this. With or without the viola, you can see, first of all, just look at it. Everything comes in at once. It's a great big swodgy block. Okay, so we're going to move some things around. What you need, never say what you need. What sometimes can work out best is... if we, we need to snore up, make sure everything's sort of, there we go, because we're going to move the whole thing around. Right, we're going to move the whole thing, I don't know. Well, it might help if it starts on bar 1, actually, to be absolutely honest. What's wrong with bar 1? I like bar 1. Some of my best friends are bar 1. Okay, here we go. Let's give us at least 4 bars. Now, what are we going to introduce first? How about this little vibes idea? Do we like the vibes? I almost said I liked something. Now let's see what happens if we just introduce the vibes there. Just by themselves. Or shall it be the piano? One or the other. I'm not averse to that. Okay, look. Frankly, what just happened wasn't bad. Now, because we can add extra little bits and pieces in the front here. In comes the piano. Now we bring in the drums and the bass there. Okay, so it's escalating to less awful, okay, but you see, introducing one bit at a time, we add an extra bit there because we haven't got the viola going yet. The interesting thing is I don't miss it, But there isn't really a central idea going on here other than this chord progression, which is a bit... No, it's not that bad. Oh, there's so much we could do with... I mean, there's some basic production stuff in terms of sort of EQ and compression and things like that. But we're not going to get into that today. We're just looking at the fundamentals. I tell you something which I do need to do. I need a reverse whooshy thing. Okay, that sounds reversey. Can I reverse that? Okay, let me give that a go. All I'm going to do is... Oh, if you're watching, if you can see, I'm not sure if you can see this. There you go. Here, I've got this little button here marked render, and it'll... on my stream deck, then I select it, and I push normalise, and it turns it into... normalising's naughty, because it's lazy. You just record it to the right level in the first place. That's what I always do. Lies. Reverse it, pushes another button. Now, something which can save you a bit of time. With a reverse like this, what you actually want it to do is to line up with the... obviously, you want it to go swoosh up to there. So you want it to do... And we're going to just take off the very end of the reverse, the transient when it was going forward. So we go like that. Then we add a little tiny micro fade out so it doesn't go click or anything like that. Now, we don't need all that. We need 1 bar's worth. And if it snaps exactly to 1 bar, you can then drag and drop that elsewhere in this piece. Should you ever want to come back to this piece. And it will... You don't have to line it up because you know it lines up. Okay, so there we go. Bounce it out, and there we go. So what does this sound like? Okay, right. Now we've got the old viola loaded up. Let me see if I can come up with something I like. There it is. One of the interesting things about the Amati viola is this. Volume is on the mod wheel. You can't quite see, can you? Oh, there's a little strip thing down here. So on the strip thing, you can bring in the vibrato. So you've got mod wheel for volume, and the blue flashy light strip thing for vibrato. It's a bit like Hollywood Strings used to do that, and as I was saying the other week, it's not something I've heard other people do since. But there we go. Well, sort of. Anyway, let's see if we can come up with anything which is less, I was going to say less awful. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad when you're working on a piece and what you're aspiring to is less awful, really, isn't it? In all seriousness, if you find yourself working on a piece and you're aspiring to less awful, have a new idea. Okay, that's not a quick fix, so it doesn't count as a tip. Okay, right. Let's give this a go. I just have no idea what I'm going to play. Let me just make sure my record mode is set for replace. Okay. Right, so the chord progression, as we know, is, 1, 4, 5, 6. So that's C major, F major, A minor, G major. So why don't you see my keyboard and see what happens? Do you remember that guy, Michelmore? Oh, he was really big in lift music, wasn't he? Yeah, that's true. I used to go up and down in the lift several times to listen to that track. What did he call it? Oh, Terrible Vibes or something, wasn't it? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. No, okay. Look, there is a central idea in this little thing because I've got this repeating do-do-do, but to be honest, the viola is not working. And there comes a point when you need to cut and run, and so you can consider that a moment to have arrived. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of it, and you see, I've already had a little play around with this at some point. This is Evolution. Ooh, except it sounds very... I like it a lot. I'm a big fan of Orange Tree's Evolution string guitar, but it's a bit dry, so we're going to add, this particular instance, we're going to add an effects channel. Hang on, let's just add, what am I, oh, sorry, I was, my brain's temporarily stopped working there for a minute. Did you notice that? So yeah, I have no idea what you were doing, Guy. No, neither do I. That was the problem. Right, so now we're going to put the reverb in. Okay, so we're going to put in lexicon. Oh, not plate. I wasn't going to go for plate. I was going to go for random hall. Because random hall has a nice... Random hall is like the old Lexicon 300, Lexicon 480, all that kind of stuff. And I used to really like that. I've got a Lexicon 300 somewhere. And it sits gathering dust these days, unfortunately, because it's just so much easier to do it like this. This is, you know, welcome to the world of software. Right, we're going to put a send in. Hello, send. To FX, turn it on, turn it up a bit. Now let's see what happens to, where's the viola gone? There we go. It's, okay, let's see what goes on here. Oh, look, as mediocre ideas go, that one just got a bit better. Speak for yourself, Guy. So we're trailing the idea over the intro. Then in comes the piano. Right, what about these strings? Okay, hang on. Firstly, that ain't working because it then went all wobbly in the second half. So I'm, just for the sake of argument, I'm going to copy the part of the idea we want, which is the okay, that bit. So hang on. I need to make sure it goes to the right place. So I'm going to, sorry, this bit might be slightly dull. This main idea, if this is the main idea, and it's showing every sign of becoming a main idea, it's going to need a bit more help. And it can't go through life called viola when it's a guitar. I wonder if it needs a bit of compression just to help it stand up a bit. Dynamics, which is my favourite. For many years I've been just defaulting to Renaissance compressor because I like it. I know how it works. Well, they're all pretty much the same, except they've changed the look of it, haven't they? Oh my god, yeah, I know. So you want something quite subtle. Okay, let's just do this. bit better. Right, so we panned the piano left and right, and we've piano vibes left and right, and we've added a bit of compression to the guitar, and it's now working a bit better. Now let's turn to these strings. Now here's another point. You need to make sure each instrument has its own sonic space. And what's going on at the moment is an awful lot of stuff is happening about here in the middle of the keyboard, which is, you know, it's fine, but it's fighting. Now some of it is all right, like the vibes. Where's the vibes going? They go. They're mainly. So they're all in that C3 octave. Then the piano, and this is Noir from Native Instruments. It overlaps a bit, but it's sort of like sort of half an octave higher. So that's fine. Okay, the trouble is the strings are in the same register. So we've got the viola, the piano and the strings all crowded in the middle of the... so nobody has their own sonic space. So just as a piece of arrangement, the first thing we've got to do is get it out of the way. So let me just junk the strings as they currently stand. Look, there they were, gone. Okay, so they're... So one thing we could do, we could play the same rhythm, but just leave a bit more space in the middle. What does that sound like? Okay, so that definitely works better, but there's something else you can do. It's not just frequency sonic space which you need to make for your little answering phrases and things like that. It's rhythmic sonic space. And what we could do is, there's quite a lot going on right at the beginning of the bar. It goes do do do, and everything kicks off. So then we could almost use the strings. It could sort of answer, not actually answer, but sort of. Let's see what happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and sort of find a rhythmic gap in the bar. Okay, there is one in there. One, two, three, do do do. That was a bit on the messy side. Oh, was that an understatement? Yes, it was a big understatement. But you see what I'm getting at, I hope, because what we've done is both found it a little space in frequency where, you know, so it's got a little bit of the octave which is its own, which is up the top here, and it's found a little part of each bar where it can, so you go do do do, bo bo bo, where it sort of comes in. So it's gone from being lift music which draws attention to itself, where you want to cram the doors open and jump out, to lift music which made you feel mildly nauseous. And now we're getting to the point where we actually occasionally say, oh, you know, it's not that bad. I said we aspire to mediocrity. And mediocrity is where we've pretty much ended up. So look, let's just recap, go from the beginning and walk you through what we've done to make this less awful. First thing we did was to work out what the main idea is, and that came along, and it's this. Second thing we did is we introduced ideas one by one rather than all at the same time. So there's a sense of growth. Actually, we see we could even do more than that. I would be tempted to leave the strings till next time round, actually. Where are they going to fit? Is it there? This sounds like one of those cookery programs where, welcome to Pudding Week here on the Great Baking British Off, or whatever. Or, yeah, it's sort of polite English. Welcome to Pro Celebrity Lift Jumping. Yeah, I would watch that all day long. Okay, there's David Beckham going to the lift on the left. Let's see if he can last till the penthouse listening to this terrible piece of lift music. The other point is these simple little things like that can really help transitions. Reverses are easy, and it just makes the difference. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. We've lined up everything. So the drums and the bass now line up. The harmony lines up so it doesn't crash into each other all the time. I'm not sure I'm going to like that there, so I'm moving that to there. Do I want it again that soon? Okay. I think it's all right. Oh, I think it's all right. Oh, thank you very much indeed. I'm looking forward to being nominated at the annual Lift Music of the Year Awards. It's what I aspire to. Thank you very much indeed for this wonderful China gnome. Metronome. One of my kids gave it to me. It was a character I invented I make up all kinds of weird characters, and that's metronome. Anyway, that's not the point. So look, I think we're done. I hope you found this useful, because look, this is, all I'm doing is, these aren't rocket sciencey type things. These are quite straightforward in a way, and you could take one of those pieces of music you've got in your, unfinished, that folder you got with all the unfinished bits in, the one which is bigger than everything else put together, that one, yeah. Just get a piece out and then try these sort of 5 points, basic stuff, and see if you can't make it work a bit better for you. And if this is the kind of thing you enjoy, you might like to consider our course. Super cheap, massively helpful, called How to Write Music. It's really good. And if you find some of this sort of chord 1, chord 5 stuff a little bit, what's going on? There's another one called Learn Music Theory. Anyway, I'm now going to show you a little trailer for one of those courses in the hope that you might think it's lovely. But look, if you're new to the channel, nice to see you. Please subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. So from me, farewell.